Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
We used a phrase yesterday on the program. We asked aloud, would Zac Gallen shove last night? We will forever be using that term here on the show because that's exactly what Zac Gallen did last night. He shoved against the New York Yankees. He was completely dialed in last night. He had the Yankees hitters guessing on a night in which it was very cold, on a night in which it looked like it was raining a little bit, so it was wet, it was cold, everybody was bundled up. It didn't feel like everybody had the best grip on the baseball. Zac Gallen pitched a masterclass last night. 6 2/3, 2 hits, and tied a career high with 13 strikeouts. He was given the opportunity by Torey Lovullo to finish out that 7th inning to try to get the 14th K. He had it. He had a check swing that didn't get the call from the third base ump, but it was a strikeout. He went. So he should have finished that inning with 14 strikeouts. He should have finished a 7-inning performance. But it is safe to say, so far, that is the best start we have seen from an Arizona Diamondbacks starting pitcher this season. A masterclass, a domination of one of the best offenses in all of baseball. Up until this series, the Yankees were the best offense in baseball for what they did to the Milwaukee Brewers. We were talking so much about torpedo bats that it got kind of boring to talk about torpedo bats and to talk about how good this Yankees offense was. But last night, it was not good because Zac Gallen had them guessing. Some great command of his fastball and just excellent feel and command for the knuckle curve. That was the pitch that he had working the best last night, and he just was bending curveball after curveball after curveball, and the Yankees couldn't catch up to it. They would stare at it. He just had excellent, excellent command, and you just needed to see that he was taking this start into the 7th inning to know how locked in, how dialed in Zac Gallen was. You forget about the rough start on opening night. Last night, you forgot all about the road woes that Zac Gallen had. We told you yesterday that we were kind of excited for this to be the start that Zac Gallen had to his road campaign in 2025. That this was a perfect litmus test, a real nice opening gauge to see where Zac Gallen was at. He set the bar really, really high. Because I don't know how many times Zac Gallen's going to throw 13 strikeouts. I don't know how many times Zac Gallen is going to dominate a lineup the way that he dominated the New York Yankees lineup. But he was excellent last night, and it was cold. You could just see it on the players' faces that everything was just tense and tight, and no one looked like they really wanted to be there. And so the Diamondbacks did a great job of getting on Carlos Rodon early and getting those runs across the plate in the first 2 innings, because after that, let's face it, both offenses struggled after about the 3rd inning in that game last night.
Yeah, and it was cool to see Gallen out there and literally nothing under his jersey,
New
too.
Jersey
Like
kid.
he's
a Jersey kid. He was like, I thrive in this. He goes,
awesome.
42 degrees and raining. I grew up in this. April weather, no problem. Everybody else bundled up. They've got the ski masks on. They're covering their faces. They're covering the top of their heads. Zac Gallen doesn't have any long sleeves on underneath. He just went out there like it was a brisk, nice 85, 90-degree day at Chase Field. He did not care that the weather was as cold as it was. And the funny thing is that tonight the forecast looks like it's going to be about 70, but it looks like it might rain tonight. So going to be a little warmer, but going to have some of the similar issues with grip and with footing. And you certainly saw Rodon have that problem last night. He just did not have his best stuff. And kudos to the Diamondbacks for taking advantage early, hitting the home run. I think that was something that really set the tone for this game. We were worried about how Zac Gallen would look on the road. The last 2 years have not been good for him, and we've got a long way to go before he sheds that narrative. But I thought last night a great first step for him. But when we were talking about this game, We talked about how he had a rough opening night start, the struggles on the road. We worried about his confidence. And I thought, what a great job by the Diamondbacks to get runs for him early. So now I'm pitching with a lead. I'm pitching ahead. Your shoulders can kind of relax a little bit. You can be a little bit more dialed in because you know you have a little bit more of wiggle room. And it was another night where they did a great job of when they faced Aaron Judge, right? His first at-bat that Judge had in the game, 2 outs, nobody on base. So you immediately don't have a chance in the bottom of the first inning where Judge can tie the game with 1 swing after you take a 2-0 lead. So great job by the offense to get out to an early start because runs certainly looked like they were going to be hard to come by in the cold last night. And credit to Zac Gallen because the other starter in that game last night struggled. And he did not. He was dialed in, locked in from the word go, and he just absolutely had those hitters fooled.
Yeah, and I think on the Judge standpoint too, like the ability to have a lead and just kind of come at hitters.
Yeah.
Like there was no messing around. Like he came at Goldschmidt, he came at Bellinger. He wasn't going to put him on base. They're going to have to earn everything. I thought that was impressive to see, and it's probably the reason he had 13 strikeouts last night.
And you're only able to do that when you have the cushion, right?
Oh,
if
yeah,
this
100%.
is a 0-0 game or you only have a 1-0 lead, you just pitch different, right? In theory, you shouldn't. You should just use your same arsenal, but you're worried because you know one swing is able to beat you. You know one Judge blast to the Judge's chambers, and you've got to tie a game, and you bring the crowd right into it. The Diamondbacks, the offense in the first couple innings of the game, the first 2 innings really, and then what Gallen was able to do, you took the Yankee Stadium crowd completely out of it, and on a cold night, when you're out of the game momentum-wise, when you're out of the game from a fan base perspective, it's hard to get back into that game. And so it's just quiet in the crowd. And it's not a road game anymore for Zac Gallen because he has full control of that stage. He is the conductor of the orchestra, and he's just making everybody sing the tune that he wants them to sing. And the tune was 13 strikeouts. And I thought, these are small things. These are small details, ladies and gentlemen, but I thought a great job by Torey Lovullo to let him have a chance at 14 strikeouts, to let him have a chance to get out of that 7th inning. I know his pitch count was a little elevated. I know you probably in the second start in the cold don't want him throwing 95, 100 pitches, but he was cruising. He wasn't facing a ton of trouble, and he got the first 2 guys out in the bottom of the 7th. And I think with the way that Zac Gallen was pitching, I think it's a no-brainer. He deserves the opportunity to try to get that 14 strikeout. And you saw what the plan was. Guy got on base. The bullpen's ready to go. We're immediately making that change. But he earned the chance to finish the job to get the career high in strikeouts. And you could see, I'm not a big lip reader, but it was very clear how ticked off Zac Gallen was because he knew he got that 14th strikeout. He was mad walking away from the mound knowing that he had 14 stolen from him.
And I think, too, like, knowing you had 14 stolen from you, and really he didn't throw a stressful inning, it felt like all night.
No.
Like, they never had multiple runners on base. It felt like it was never close to losing that lead, and they just had it all night, and it never felt like they were going to lose it with him on the hill.
I know what happened in the 9th inning, and I know the probably nerves that you had in the 9th inning. Don't worry, we will touch on that, but you have to open the show. You have to open the conversation today about this game and this team now being 4-2 with how excellent Zac Gallen was last night. The 13 strikeouts, and it wasn't. We said this about Corbin Burns and the 8 strikeouts that he had in his first start in the first game of this series. You don't accidentally stumble into that many strikeouts. You're dialed in, you're focused, you have everything working for you. And this was not a Yankees lineup that was sitting down guys. Judge was in there, Bellinger was in there, Goldschmidt was in there, everybody was in there, and this was something that we talked about after yesterday's game. But look at the top part of this lineup. Goldie 0 for 4. Bellinger, Judge, and Jazz, 3 hits between those guys in their 12 at-bats. You just did an excellent job handling the part of the lineup that you need to handle. And most of the job was done by Zac Gallen in his 6 2/3. So he handled the part of the lineup that you worry about. You worry about the damage that those top 4 guys can do for you. And last night it wasn't a problem at all. He just handled his business and immediately makes us forget about the tough opening day start. Immediately makes us forget that he struggled on the road last year, because that's the opening note for Zac Gallen. I just dominated coming into this game, coming into the series, the hottest offense in baseball. The offense that everybody in the sport is talking about because of torpedo bats, because of all the home runs that they crushed, because of how good they were in that first series against Milwaukee. And he just shut them down. Wasn't even close until late. And trust me, we will talk about that here at some point. The Diamondbacks will go for a sweep of the Yankees later on today. They will send Merrill Kelly to the mound against Carlos Cookie Carrasco for the New York Yankees, as the Yankees will look to avoid a sweep here at the hands of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks will look to, we'll talk about this a little bit later on in the show as well. They got to keep pace. So early on, only into Game 7 of the season, but there's some pressure building in the National League West for everybody involved. We'll touch on that a little bit later on in the show.